I'm Alex Giggey. I am the marketing intern here at Winnipesaukee Playhouse, and I'm sitting with
AJ Ditty, and I am from New York, and now I am here.
Great. So I thought we could start off with just kind of getting into describing your character in The Foreigner and what he's all about.
Oh, Charlie. His name is Charlie Baker. He is a proofreader at a science fiction magazine in Britain, and he is coming over to Georgia to have a weekend away because his wife is dying and he needs a vacation very, very badly. He's sort of a neurotic mess, but he sort of really comes into his own while here in Georgia and really finds himself.
Okay, great. So is there a certain way that you've prepared yourself to become a neurotic mess?
I am a neurotic mess, so it was very easy to slip into character. Yeah, actually, he's very childlike in a lot of ways. He's sort of reached this point in his life when he's reached an existential crisis and he really doesn't know who he is, and so he kind of has to be reborn as the person he was always kind of meant to be. And I love playing that childlike innocence, so I watched about 10 minutes of Tom Hanks as the tourist. No, yeah, it's the tourist, right? The terminal. Oh, there it is. Yeah. We did it. We did it together. In order to get the accent down, but other than that, yeah.
So other than the accent, are there any other challenges you face with the role?
There is a monologue completely in gibberish. That was a very large challenge to memorize, but it's so much fun to do. And I'm really, really excited to show everybody.
That's great. Do you say it word for word what's on the page, or you?
Yes. I'm not sure how I'm doing on the pronunciations on some of the words, but I think that's okay. I think we worked it out with the cast too. There were some words I actually didn't know, and they really helped out with that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Nice collaborative effort there. Yeah. So, have you ever been put in a similar situation where you are a foreigner in a place that maybe you don't speak the language or you're not familiar with?
Well, I did a semester abroad where I was literally a foreigner in a foreign land. I worked with a lot of Irish artists, and it was really interesting because I felt like I had to be a representation of my entire country.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's so funny how little they cared about my being, from a different country. But I think the most important thing, and really why I think I relate with this place so much, is that I think we've all at one time felt like we are a literal foreigner. Like just going off even to college, or like going into the big bad real world after we graduate, it really becomes this scenario where we're not used to our environment and we feel that we have to try and fit in, and the failure to fit in makes us feel very distant. So I think that's why this place speaks to so many people.
Definitely, definitely. So this is your second summer?
This is my second summer here? Yeah.
Awesome. So I saw you in a couple shows last summer.
Oh.
I saw you in Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, well.
Very nice work, by the way.
Thank you.
And last summer you played kind of silly characters in Noises Off, and then you played a darker character with Sherlock Holmes. Is there a certain way that you approach comedy versus serious, and this show being comedic?
Oh yeah.
In that way?
I find that the best way to go about approaching a dramatic role is to find the comedy, and to approach a dramatic role, a comedic role to find the drama. I'm going to redo that line because I find that the easiest way to approach a comedic role is to find the dramatic, and to approach the dramatic through the comedic. Keith has a really great thing that he's been saying this whole thing, is that there is no true comedy anymore. There was a time when plays were written to be very, very straightforward and just funny, but now things tend to be more nuanced and have this sort of darker undertone to them. So in this play, Charlie is the saddest person I've ever seen in my entire life. He is just a wreck of a human being. And I think a lot of the comedy comes from the fact that he is that way, and to play to the truth of that drama actually gets more comedy out of it. And the same thing with Sherlock, in that, if the whole thing was just this lecture about, him telling you why we're wearing red shoes today, you know what I mean, and how it completely relates to like your marriage falling apart. Like, that would be the most boring show ever. But if you can throw in, find the light and the joy in it, then it really, I think, enraptures audiences more.
Great. And do you have any sort of preference either way?
I really like the ones. My favorite plays are the ones that like get you laughing and then sucker punch you about halfway through.
Right.
When you realize, oh, this is not funny anymore, because then you feel like you have this communion with the play, that you're like on good terms with it, and then you're actually rooting for the characters when things go really, really dark. So.
Of course. Yeah. Definitely. Okay. So, also wondering, is there any secrets that you have for prepping the next production while you are acting in The Foreigner, because you're in the next show as well, right?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm playing Lane in The Importance of Being Earnest, and it's all about just finding the little moments where you're not working on this show to like throw a little time towards the next one.
Right.
And to trust that in the rehearsal process, that next character will come.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that it's not that this show will be fine. This show is a show that you've really gotten in your body by this point, and the next show is something that requires your full attention once this thing goes up.
Great. So there's absolutely no free time then outside performing and rehearsing?
Oh no, there's some free time.
Okay.
Once we get home at night, we sit down and we watch some really terrible television together.
Great.
And it's a great little bonding moment. It's a really great way to relax, watching terrible TV.
Yeah, that's great. Right. So you speak about, kind of coming as a community, as a cast, getting together. Are there any sort of funny or unusual happenings that have occurred as, throughout your rehearsals as a group?
Oh, yes. There are entire subplots of this play that you never see on stage that we have devised amongst ourselves. Most of them involve Nick Wilder, because pretty much anything funny in the universe involves Nick Wilder. But yeah, I can't go into too much detail because I fear that my cast will disown me for revealing those secrets. But yeah, they're really fun, and we're gonna try and pepper them in.
Okay, great. So maybe we'll see a couple Easter eggs. And
yes, here and there.
Special production that we haven't seen. Maybe if we've seen The Foreigner before.
Oh, I hope so. Oh, I hope so.
Great. Thank you so much for this interview, AJ. And break a leg. I know rehearsal is starting right now. So
rehearsal's starting right now?
Yeah, Keith was just in here.